Our final solution, it's about resources. So those of you that need more funding and hope to be a little bit more connected to the growing energy economy, this is it. So last but not least, we have Beth Offenbacker, project manager from NYSERDA, New York State Research and Development Authority's Workforce Development and Training Team, in a talk about energy transition workforce training programs. Welcome, Beth.
Thank you so much, Annie. Good afternoon on behalf of the NYSERDA Workforce Development Team. It is so good to be here with you in person and online to focus on the critical task of advancing talent and equity for New Yorkers across the city and our great state. Before I dive into what I want to share with you about the work that we do, can I see a show of hands of organizations that either have received funding from NYSERDA Workforce Development in the past or currently are being funded by NYSERDA Workforce Development? Okay, I see some hands out there. Thank you so much, and we are grateful for the important work that you're doing. So today I'm going to provide an overview of our workforce development funding opportunities. So two goals here. The first thing is to inform you about those funding opportunities, and two, to invite you, hopefully, as a result of some of the information I'm going to share with you, to apply for one or more of those opportunities. Our workforce development and training programs support New York State's clean energy and jobs agenda, which is putting our state on a path to a carbon neutral economy under the Climate Act, which is the shorthand for the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act. This is really about the 21st century economy that you heard Greg speak about earlier today. We've committed $120 million to support existing workforce development and training initiatives. And these efforts prioritize programs for the state's most underserved communities, populations, including priority populations and disadvantaged communities. And it also has a focus on helping to integrate displaced workers into the clean energy industry. About half of our funding has been committed to date, and we are well on our way to our goal of 40,000 individuals trained for the growing clean energy jobs in our state. And we need your help to get to that 40,000 goal. In addition to setting an ambitious energy transition trajectory, the Climate Act formalizes a commitment to ensuring that the benefits of investments are directed at disadvantaged communities. And the current interim definition of disadvantaged communities is a location-based analysis that's based on census block groups that fit income thresholds and environmental justice criteria, among other factors. I also want to highlight a little bit about the priority populations that we work with. They include, and it's a list that's quite extensive, veterans, individuals with disabilities, low-income individuals, incumbent or unemployed fossil fuel workers, previously incarcerated individuals, 16 to 24-year-olds who've completed a comprehensive training program, a career, for example, through a career technical, high school, BOCES, Conservation Corps, Youth Build, and AmeriCorps, homeless individuals, and also single parents. So a rather extensive list of those populations that we are especially interested in working with. And as part of our work, we periodically fund research that illuminates where the greatest workforce needs and opportunities are in clean energy across New York. Our 2021 Clean Energy Industry Report shows that the state had just over 157,000 jobs in clean energy at the end of 2020, which represents 6,000 jobs that were lost amidst the pandemic. But despite this loss, clean energy employment remains 12% higher than the 2015 baseline year. And amid the pandemic, New York made modest employment gains in key sectors, which include wind energy, clean and alternative transportation, energy storage, and grid modernization. And according to a second report that came out from the Climate Justice Working Group, the job study, which you see here on this slide, the demand for clean energy jobs is expected to increase more than 60% from 2019 to 2030, adding at least 211,000 new jobs here in New York State. The vast majority of these 211,000 new jobs fall within these 4 sectors that you can see here. Notably, clean energy jobs in these subsectors are expected to grow by at least 346,000 jobs through 2050. The jobs study also showed that 60% of the jobs lost in a number of displaced subsectors for the time period 2019 to 2030 will be from the lower wage paying category, those paying less than $28 an hour. Conventional fueling stations, or gas stations, if you will, represent almost half of all displaced jobs in the 3rd scenario noted in this report. Other displaced job areas include those in petroleum, natural gas, vehicle maintenance, and nuclear. The good news is the study showed 70% of jobs added in the growth subsectors of building electrification, solar, advanced manufacturing, and offshore wind between 2019 and 2030. Those jobs will be in the middle wage rate, that is $28 to $37 an hour, or higher, paying more than $37 an hour. Geographically speaking, the good news continues. Job increases through 2030 are found in every corner of the state, with each of New York's 5 regions seeing an increase of up to 48,000 net new jobs. So to give you a little bit of context for the work that we do in workforce development. So how do we do this? How do we help residents across the city, across the state, take advantage of the job growth that's coming in these clean energy sectors? We do this by funding a number of program opportunity notices, or PONs in nicer to speak, that advance clean energy workforce development. Our marquee program is the one you see here. Our marquee career pathway program, rather, is PON 3981, Energy Efficiency and Clean Technology Training. This supports technical training, hands-on learning, job placement, and supportive services for new and existing workers, apprentices, journey persons, and students. I will also tell you that some of the projects that we fund also include training stipends, and this PON also covers technical training conducted in languages other than English. So there's a lot more there that you can certainly review on the website. One other note, of course, we are especially looking to fund projects that train individuals who represent priority populations and who live in disadvantaged communities. What is particularly exciting about PON 3981 is that it can also fund those wraparound services that I mentioned a few minutes ago. For example, transportation subsidies, mental health counseling, housing supports, among several other categories. We, and most importantly, our training partners, find these kinds of supportive services often can make a big difference. We heard about this in some of the panels earlier, for people who may have barriers to employment so that they can successfully move into or up in a green job. Having said that, we wish that we had more funding available for supportive services, and we would be more than glad to talk with any philanthropic organizations that may be interested in further leveraging NYSERDA funding for these services. The need is great, and there are definitely opportunities to expand coverage of supportive services for New Yorkers who want to move into clean energy jobs. To give you a sense of what some career pathways programs might look like, I'd like to highlight just a few of our current or recent projects. Our first one is a new project with the Fund for Public Housing, which is the foundation arm of the New York City Housing Authority. The fund is partnering with NYCHA to design and deliver a comprehensive training program that connects Clean Energy Academy grads with contractors delivering heat pump installations and maintenance, energy performance contracts, and other energy retrofits at NYCHA properties across the city. The goal is to accelerate building decarbonization by developing a custom-trained workforce of individuals from environmental justice communities. It will serve 100 NYCHA residents, and we're excited to hear good things about this project as it proceeds in the coming months. A second project that we want to showcase for you is one with non-traditional employment for women, NEW, I think who you all know very well. NEW developed a training program to prepare 75 low-income women particularly women of color, for jobs and apprenticeships in the green collar economy. Now, this is a hands-on course that includes skills training, soft skills workshops, physical conditioning, mentoring, and networking opportunities with subject matter experts, plus site tours that focus on environmental stewardship in the construction industry. Students have direct entry into green construction trade jobs, and new partners with major employers and apprenticeship programs, including Con Edison, National Grid, and PSEG, Cushman and Wakefield, the MTA, the city's Department of Environmental Protection, and more than 30 registered apprenticeship programs. The last one I'm going to highlight for you is with Stacks and Jewels. They partnered with the UA Maker Academy, the South Bronx Community Charter High School, and the Lower East Side Girls Club to prepare high school seniors from low-income communities and designated environmental justice areas for jobs in the building automation system industry. Yes, there is an industry that's focused on that. In addition to rigorous technical training, career exploration, hands-on learning, and close mentorship by industry professionals, the program leads to professional credentials, preparing students for careers in the energy efficiency and clean technology industry. The project, which recently wrapped up, had robust interest, with Stacks and Jewels training twice as many students as they originally expected when the program began. So pretty exciting stuff. So you can see here a list of the many organizations that we're working with or that we've recently worked with. We need your organization on this list. There are also some other ways that your organization can guide people into the clean energy workforce here in New York State. Our portfolio at NYSERDA is designed to be modular or stackable. Someone could complete a 3981 training program and then step into an internship or a job that's part of our on-the-job training program that I'll highlight in a moment. This provides them with a ladder or a scaffold, if you will, into a clean energy career. In fact, a number of the training partners and community-based organizations we work with actively highlight these programs in talking with their employer partners. So it's a win-win all the way around. Our internship program provides wage reimbursement for internships on a sliding scale depending on employer size. Internships can be full or part-time while that student goes to school. Businesses can onboard their own interns, or they can choose from a qualified candidate list of people who've applied directly through NYSERDA. Employers can have up to 30 interns, while MWBEs and SDVOBs have no cap on the number of interns that they can bring on. The program is open to businesses, not-for-profits, municipalities, and direct entry pre-apprenticeship programs providing clean energy services. Finally, our on-the-job training program provides organizations hiring new workers in clean energy with a wage reimbursement on a sliding scale depending on eligibility, lowering the risk of bringing a new team member on board for them. In general, this program provides a 50 to 75% wage reimbursement to eligible businesses for 4 to 6 months of a new hire's training period. 75% for MWBEs, SVDOBs, and heat pump hires, and 50% for all other hires. I'll also indicate here that individuals from priority populations or disadvantaged communities receive 6 months of reimbursement compared to 4 months for all other hires. So in closing, I hope that you have heard something here that inspired you to take a look at these opportunities to be a part of the clean energy jobs that are coming to New York State. Can I see a show of hand of anyone who's interested in learning more about any of those programs? Wonderful. Well, please do check out the QR code that will take you directly to the NYSERDA Workforce Development Training page on the website. And again, we really appreciate the opportunity to share these funding opportunities with you, and we hope that we will be working with you very soon. One other quick point I'll mention, we recently streamlined our application process for PON 3981. It is now a concept paper. You do not have to do a whole proposal unless hopefully your concept paper would be approved and then you'd be invited to do that. So we are really trying to lower the barriers to applying for that program, and we hope that we see an application from you very soon. Thank you so much.